Hey guys, and welcome to the horror room. As you can see, I got my VHS right behind me. Decided to switch things up for this video because the topic is very appropriate. Today, we're going to be talking about movies that I'm missing from certain series, but only on VHS. And I mean, I guess you could say, well, at least you got them on a format, you can watch them, but that's not the point. If you collect VHS horror movies like me, you know that completing a series or set is always a wonderful feeling. And there's some that I don't have, but I decided not to include because I'm like, I don't really care. Like, I'm not going to go after the media versions of Texas Chainsaw or Halloween. I have them on tape. I'm okay with those. I'm not going to pay out the ass to get those versions specifically. But anyways, what we are going to talk about is these series. Now I'm going to be showing the DVD of the ones I'm missing because obviously I have the DVD. I don't have the VHS. That's kind of the point of the video. Pay attention. Um, First off, we're going to talk about the Leprechaun series. I don't know if you can see it, but I can just grab them. They're right behind me. I'm not going to grab every single one, but I only have Leprechaun 1 and 3, and I actually got these from a family video when they were closing. I'm not sure why I grabbed these two specifically. I am glad that I grabbed part 3, but it's always bothered me. I'm like, hey, those are pretty fun movies, and I actually own them all on DVD. I don't own Origins, and I don't own Leprechaun Returns. I have absolutely no interest in owning those. But Leprechaun 2, Leprechaun 4 in Space, I'm not a big fan of this one, and Leprechaun in the Hood, and Leprechaun Back to the Hood. I would not mind owning all of these on VHS because honestly, they're all fun in their own special way. But I have them all on DVD, so I'm not missing out. But it would be nice to have them displayed next to each other. Next, we have a bit of a cheat. These aren't technically horror movies, but I love them. I actually got the first two right behind me. Again, I'm not pulling them out, but I'm talking about the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes series. Now, I have the first movie, and then I also have the second one, Return of the Killer Tomatoes, which is my hands down favorite comedy movie from the 80s. But I also have all the DVDs, and I have Killer Tomatoes Strike Back and Killer Tomatoes Eat France. Pretty goofy movies, not very great. But Killer Tomatoes Strike Back did have unique cover art, and they actually show it on the back of this DVD. Let me see if you can show you that. Basically, this guy's turning this woman into a giant BLT, which is ridiculous. And that was the movie where they started having the facial features and stuff like the cartoons. So yeah, and they're cool to watch just mainly for that, like seeing the tomatoes and how they are all different and unique. I don't know if they used ones from the cartoon or vice versa if the cartoon used ones from the movies. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, Killer Tomatoes is one of my guilty pleasure series. If I could, I'd have like all the figures hanging up, but I only got the one. Next, we have Return of the Living Dead. I have part 2 and 3, but I'm missing part 1. And if you know anything about that, this movie gets expensive. And I would love to complete it, but I just do not have that kind of money. I'm also, because I just remembered this just now, 2 other movies that I would love to grab. Now, let me see if I can find the tape. There we go. I could have grabbed the DVDs, but they're hidden away over there, and I forgot to grab them. And that's Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3. I love those sequels, actually. Like, the first one's a classic, don't get me wrong. But to have part 2 and 3, especially part 2, because that cover is iconic with the girl backpacking, and she's got all the hockey mask and Freddy's glove, and it's like, it's ridiculous. It's great, though. And that poster has been parodied and replicated many times. But to get Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3, specifically just 2, I'd be happy with just 2. But I will eventually, I am planning on doing another video where I'm talking about VHS movies that I do not own at all. Obviously, if I have them on DVD, I'll show them on the DVD. But the point is, I would love to own them on VHS for that nostalgia factor. But we'll get to that. Next, we have an iconic. If you've been to the rental store, you remember seeing these all lined up in a row, and that is Puppet Master 4 and 5. I have part 1, 2, and 3 and Curse, but I do not have 4 and 5. Now, these aren't the best movies in the franchise, of course, but I remember when I first got into Puppet Master, renting all 6 of those on VHS and just having a blast watching them. And I know Curse of Puppet Master is on VHS, but... Or not Curse of Puppet Master, Retro Puppet Master. I have it on DVD. It's part of a box set. I'm not interested in owning it on VHS. I mean, if I found it for cheap, sure, like $1, whatever. But I'm not going to go out of my way to get it. And these ones specifically usually cost somewhere in the range of $20 to $40. So now we're on to the last 3 that I do not own, which is pretty surprising. One of them is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Now, you might recognize this as part of the box set. I'll eventually cover that. But yeah, this is one I have all the VHS of the Freddy series except this one. I do have an alternate version because, as you know, there's the classic. Really, oh my gosh, losing my voice. There's the classic releases, and then they also released a set where it had side art similar to like anime tapes like Dragon Ball Z, or you got the Faces of Death with the side art, and it's got Freddy with his arms outstretched. One of my tapes, I think it's The Dream Child, is from that set. The other ones are like original media releases and stuff, so it's kind of mismatched and stuff. I don't care what release that I could get of New Nightmare, but I just don't have it on VHS for some reason. Next, we have Child's Play 3. I have Child's Play 1. I have Child's Play 2. That's my favorite Chucky movie. And I have Bride of Chucky. Now, I didn't include Seed of Chucky because it's insanely overpriced. And I'm like, you know what? I'd be happy just to get 3 because that's kind of an iconic cover. You got Chucky's grin. I do prefer the cover of Part 2, of course, but I remember seeing that in the rental store. But last and not least, this one used to be, people were like, we don't like this movie, get out of here. Nowadays, people love it, and that has only increased the price dramatically, and that is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. No matter what cover you get, it's classic. There's like 2 different covers. I have one of the Part 2 covers. It's like the one with Loomis and Laurie on the cover. The original Part 2 cover has the pumpkin with the skull coming out of it. But both covers of this, like, I think this is one of them with the kids on the front, but there's one with the masks and stuff. I really wouldn't care. Whichever one I could afford. I just think it'd be cool to finally complete that series because I have the Halloween movies from Part 1 to Resurrection. I need Part 3. That's the only one. And you could argue, you know, you're not missing out. You got all the ones with Michael Myers, but I still think this is a damn good movie. Even though it doesn't have Michael Myers in it, as they've later proved in the series, it doesn't matter if you have Michael Myers in it or not, apparently. Movie can still be shit. But anyways, those are some of the movies that I'm on the lookout for. And I like a good bargain. Call me cheap if you want, but I'm not going to run out and go on eBay and spend $30-$40 a pop just to fill in a gap. When I literally just showed you I have those movies, so I can watch them. It's just like, if I find them for cheap, I'll throw them into the collection. But thanks for watching, guys. I'm not sure what my next video is going to be. I think I've got some ideas, but I'll figure something out. Maybe we'll talk about some box sets or something. I am wanting to do movie reviews eventually. I'm trying to figure out how to go about that because I don't want to spoil the movies. I don't want to like get too in depth, but I don't want them to be super short videos. So maybe I'll do like 2 movies at a time or talk about my experience with the movies if it's a movie I've seen. Let me know if you guys think that'd be a fun idea. I don't want to do what everyone else does on these types of channels. So that's why I try to switch it up and do something different, something you wouldn't expect. Keep it interesting, you know? So I've got plenty of material to work with. I just got to figure it out. Check on my posts. Sometimes I'll do questions on there. I'd love to do like some Q&A type stuff. Answer some questions about horror. Like certain aspects of collecting, I don't know, but I'd have to get some questions for that. So if you guys want to submit questions, maybe I'll pull a bunch of them together and make a video. I think that'd be fun. And I haven't been doing too many shorts recently. I'm kind of not a big fan of those, and I don't want to like burn anybody out with those. I have a few that have gotten quite a bit of reach, and I was hoping to bring in some more subscribers so you guys can, hey, share it in the fun. But what can you do? I mean, people just doom scroll. So, but thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll get another good video to you next week. If not, if I can think of something sooner, maybe I'll post sooner. But until then, thanks for watching.